Welcome to the Arizona Pickleball League podcast. Presented by Jigsaw Health. It's fun to feel good. And now, your hosts, Ashley Leroux and the Orchard Security Guy.
Hello, Arizona Pickleball family. I'm Ashley Leroux, and I'm alongside Orchard Security Guy, Patrick Sullivan Jr., to deliver the episode 26, the final podcast of the season, to wrap up basically what happened last night here at the Orchard. OSG, give us your experience from last night.
Well, first of all, what a season. I mean, wow. Last night, I had to go, kind of did some cleaning responsibilities late last night. Got the cup back to its shiny self. I mean, a lot of hands touched that cup last night. There may or may not have been some people having some adult beverages out of that late, celebrating.
I didn't even know that was legal.
Yeah. I let it happen, but I knew it was just going to take some work to get that back to the pristine condition.
As long as it was Fat Tire, it's probably okay.
Yeah. So
the official beer of the Orchard and TNP.
It's back on display, but yeah, what a night. That was awesome. What a night.
It was magical. Patrick Sullivan Jr., what are your words of wisdom from last night?
I mean, it was, as I was telling you, my loving wife and business partner, can you believe that the entire concept of the Arizona Pickleball League was created on a drive back from a pickleball tournament in California? I think it was about January 14th or so. Mm-hmm. And it was the rough concept of how pickleball could be improved for fans and players, and how we could actually do that here at the beautiful Orchard at Jigsaw Health that we built. And we did it. We invented it, and next thing you know, there's a championship.
Right.
I think it's incredible.
Within 6 months.
Yeah, six months from concept to championship.
Yeah. A lot of work was done.
Toilet paper always included in that? I mean, is that the vision that when it started that we would have toilet paper confetti? I mean, clean, never use toilet paper confetti.
Of course.
Was that in that drive, do you think, back over?
Well, toilet paper has always been in our DNA as Jigsaw Health. It started way back when we did a couple of jokes surrounding taking the wrong kind of magnesium. Right? So you know what happens when you take the wrong kind of magnesium and you are running to the restroom. So Patrick once dressed up before he became DJ Pickle, and this is really just like insider knowledge, so I'm gonna spill it for you. Before he became DJ Pickle, he was a life-size roll of toilet paper. And if you'd like us to post that photo somewhere, definitely make a comment and you just might see it.
We'll find it.
You should make a comeback.
It almost reflects poorly on you that you married a man that was once a life-size roll of toilet paper.
At least you're not boring.
Correct. I'm never boring.
Yes, that was my only request. I should have had more requests, but it's too late now.
Can I do some thank yous?
I think you should.
I think before we get too deep in the show, it is very worthwhile to say thank you to all the people that made this dream come to life. Let's start with the general managers. 5 great people who managed these 5 teams throughout the season for very little money. Mm-hmm. They were actually paid a little bit, but it was not a lot of money. Amy Riccardi, the manager of the Peoria Pythons. Brad Duhonick, the manager of the now champion Scottsdale Scorchers. Matt Staggers, manager of the Tempe Tornadoes. Mike Givens, the Gilbert Gladiators. And Scott Kilpatrick, the Surprise Stingers. They did such a great job. I also want to thank the sponsors that decided to take, a
leap of faith
with us, starting with New Belgium, Fat Tire, the official beer of Tuesday Night Pickleball, Pickle Roll, the beautiful official surface of the Orchard, or as Casey Patterson would say, the elite pickleball surface.
Yes.
Onyx DuraFast 40, the Neon Dura, that's what we love to play here. It's the official ball of the Orchard. And D. Hudson that came in midway and became the official clothing sponsor of the Orchard, these sweet-looking
Awesome
hats that we have. All our great players, we fielded a total of 27 players this season. The production crew, you can kind of see behind me a little bit of the production. Oh, I'm blocking it. It's making it worse. Well, it
You can
doesn't
see the
matter.
computers.
You can see all those computers back there if you're watching on the YouTubes. But I've got RJ, Corey, Cam, Eddie, Christian, Joel, Gentry, Gabe, Keach, and Cole. It's 11 people, not all working necessarily at the same time, and sometimes not even working very hard.
Let's be honest.
But they did such a great, amazing job. Most people, I think, when you're a fan of an event like this, you don't understand how much work goes in behind the scenes, not just during the event, but the pre-production and post-production of the event. Also want a big shout out to Steve Taylor, our OWG, that created the soundtrack of all of Tuesday Night Pickleball. He also did the editing of all the top 5 plays. Volunteers. We had some amazing volunteers from the Arizona, Phoenix area. Anya, Eddie, Marie, Carl, Lester, Amy. I think I got most everybody, but there might have been a few early on that I'm not remembering. I apologize. The refs and the scoreboard operators, Brenda, Leslie, Maddie, and sometimes Augie holding it down. Sometimes player, sometimes scoreboard operator. The bartenders and the event staff. You can't have a beautiful place like this and not have event staff.
That's right.
Amy, Emily, Julie, Jess, Taylor, Johnny, Natalie, Megan, Rob. A lot of those people do work for the Jigsaw Health team and then would extend their days on Tuesdays to bring Tuesday Night Pickleball to you.
I know it's a lot.
It's a lot of people that helped to bring this to life, and really heartfelt thanks from me to all of you guys to putting your time and effort and energy into this, whether it was paid or unpaid. It means the world to us.
Yeah, it made it possible. And let's not forget the Orchard security guy keeping everybody safe, and of course the security pups.
Yes, I was just going to say.
Because we couldn't do it without them.
Not forget the pups. And when we have 8K 240 frames per second Canon 635R-C cameras out here, it takes more than one person.
Absolutely.
In this production
Takes
crew.
the village.
I mean, unbelievable job.
So thank you.
I really had a special thank you to the Orchard security guy. OSG has become the face of the Orchard, of Tuesday Night Pickleball. None more so demonstrated. I'm not even sure if that statement makes sense, but last weekend in Flagstaff, Arizona, about 2 hours north of Phoenix, he was on site doing security for the Flagstaff Open, and people came up to him 100 times. We're like, I thank you so much for everything that you do, and I especially love your ASMR closes in the podcast.
And can I get a selfie?
And can I get a selfie?
He got pretty good at selfies.
He did. He did.
Well, you know, you're just trying to keep people safe up there, and Flagstaff reached out and wanted to have all their stuff secure, lines, nets, all that stuff, and I said, I'll be there.
That's right.
No days off for
That's
OSG.
what we do.
So let's dive into some more details regarding the league. Let's first talk about the question that everyone is asking. Will there be a season 2?
Probably, not definitely. And here's why. As I said from the beginning, we need to have fun and make a profit. And our team is going to do a deep dive into the numbers to really determine, yes, we for sure had a lot of fun. Raise your hand if you had fun. Monk, Lola, please. Correct.
2 hands.
Now the question is the sort of more analytical part. Was it worth it? Was the juice worth the squeeze? And that takes a little time to dig into, but I do have a few numbers I want to talk about right now. The first number is the number 13. 13 weeks in a row, we packed the house here at the Orchard. Ashley and I talked about this during the season, that some weeks we seemed to sell out like pretty quickly, but most weeks we didn't.
We sold out the day of the event, which kept us really worried
Exactly.
until the last second.
And one of the things, if I've learned anything in marketing, is that marketing is about basically getting attention over time.
Time and repetition.
The repetition is important. And anything that's worth talking about, you just have to give yourself time for word of mouth to develop, which leads me to my next number, the number 11. On Wednesday, May 30th at 5 p.m., tickets went on sale for the Orchard Championship Cup. And at 5:11 p.m., Amy was texting me, we sold out. We sold out the championship in 11 minutes.
Yeah.
That
Taylor Swift style.
T Swift of pickleball right here.
That was exciting.
That gives me definitely a lot of hope to say that probably we will have a season 2. So many people came up to me. They were like, what you have built here is so incredibly special. And, I'm glad I started with the thank yous so that everybody watching can understand how much effort and time it goes into and how many people it takes to really bring all of this together. The next number I want to talk about is 500. Every player in the Arizona Pickleball League this year made a $500 game check for every game that they appeared in. And I'm really proud of that. We didn't just ask people to volunteer their time to be featured on the Orchard at Jigsaw Health Center court, beautiful elite pickle roll surface. We actually paid them to play with dignity, rule number 1, and rule number 2, put on a good show. Rule number 3, see rule number 1. As per the Arizona Pickleball League rules of the road, which can be found on ArizonaPBL.com. I'm really proud of that. The next number, 3,000. So the rough math, Ashley, that we have done is that we lost about $3,000 per event.
We invested.
That's a better way to say it.
Yes.
So over a 13-week episode, we, rough numbers as of right now, lost about $40,000. We invested $40,000 to put a lot of eyeballs and a lot of attention onto the Arizona Pickleball League. And right now, quick big shout out to Pickleball Channel for mid-season, I believe it was week 8 or week 9, picking up the league and broadcasting it to their platform on YouTube, which has about 48,000 subscribers. So to everybody that found us via Pickleball Channel, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for getting addicted to what we're doing here in Arizona. And thank you to Rusty and Meredith for picking us up and being a partner in that. So with that $40,000 investment, as the CEO of Jigsaw Health, one of the questions I asked myself was, okay, over this time, do we think we've sold about 40,000 more worth of Jigsaw Health products? Did we sell more Electrolyte Supreme? Did we sell more Pickleball Cocktail? How about Mag Soothe and Mag Relief? What about the hydration bottles and the It's Fun to Feel Good hats, the I Pickle and I Love It shirts? Well, it's not as precise and easy to measure because at checkout, nobody really tells you how they found you. Even if you did put that survey there, those are notoriously inaccurate.
Right.
So we just kind of use our gut and we sort of look at things overall. And there's really 3 questions that I step back and ask myself. 1, is the company revenue growing overall? 2, is the profit growing overall? And 3, are we having fun? And the answer to all of those questions, thankfully, is yes.
That being said, we will be diving into the numbers to do some assessments over the next month or so, and before we give 100% final confirmation on season 2, but we are hopeful.
If we do, we've penciled in Tuesday, September 27th as week number 1 for the start of season 2, which means that 13 weeks later would be Tuesday, December 17th. OSG, can you confirm
correction on that real quick? That would be the 26th of September.
I'm glad you checked. Thankfully. Thankfully.
It's got to be a Tuesday.
Yes. Yeah.
So, that's sort of where we're at on the long-winded question, will there be a season 2?
Okay, that's some good intel. Let's move and transition over to this documentary that we've been filming since the beginning of the Arizona Pickleball League. It is a story about the Arizona Pickleball League, and let's talk about a little bit about how that's going.
You mean that guy right there?
Oh, this guy, yes. Cole Uphouse. Uphouse Films. We were so lucky, speaking of thank yous, to have him heading up this project. He's so incredibly talented. We know whatever he is putting together is going to be awesome. We have not been able to look at too much of the footage so far, just a couple of glimpses here and there. All I know is it looks beautiful, and I know that he's going to be able to piece together the story of this season, this league, and it's going to be epic. I'm hearing that we're probably shooting for about a January or first quarter launch of this documentary.
That is hopefully the timeline. Cole and I talked a lot about, actually we didn't have a lot of time to talk about sort of what may happen because we were starting up the Arizona Pickleball League so quickly, and it made sense to us that, well, if we're going to do the first season, you only get a chance to film the first season one time. Let's hire a documentarian. By the way, Cole was mentioned on my production crew list.
He was also, yes. He's also helped out with the production itself in addition
Tuesday Night Pickleball.
Of doing the documentary.
Right. So the interesting thing is that at the beginning of the season, we assembled all 5 of these teams. And we didn't know at all how the season was going to go, but there was a little bit of a suspicion that possibly the Scottsdale Scorchers would be, on paper, the best team.
Why is that?
Probably primarily Pesa Teoni. One of the best players, if not the best player in Arizona, was a part of the Scottsdale Scorchers. Now, the difference between the best player and the second best player and the third best player, really the number 1 and the number 10, is fractions of an inch, as measured by the power rating that we've been tracking all season. So, and for the record, Pesa didn't have the highest power rating throughout the season. One of those games he was sick on, though, too, so I think that might have been a tough one.
But before the season started, we had a trial match, would you say?
Yeah.
With that?
Exhibition.
So then the exhibition. And so that was pretty much the same teams between Tempe and Scottsdale, right?
Correct.
So we had a little bit of intel on that team prior to.
And that was a really good match.
Yes.
3-point difference, I think, at 50 to 53 or 53 to 50.
And both of those teams, we kind of were, which one of those two do you think would make it?
Well, Scottsdale, going back to the documentary, as we know now, Scottsdale struggled. They were 0-1, then 0-2. They got their first win in their third game, 1-2. Then they went 1-3 in their last game of the season and were right on the bubble of making the playoffs. In fact, Surprise Stingers could have knocked them out had Surprise beat Peoria Pythons. But then going into the first semifinal match, the 1-seed Tempe Tornadoes, another rematch against the Scottsdale Scorchers, and it's hard to beat the same team because that's how close these teams are, right? The talent is also right there. So Scottsdale Scorchers, with the victory, make it into the Orchard Championship Cup. And we had a great match last night. Pythons got down in the in the first quarter, but only down by 7. And then they just kept fighting back. I think in the fourth quarter, maybe they got it to within 6.
Yeah.
So it was a tight game, and I would say tension was high. Me as DJ Pickle over in the corner, when I feel my goosebumps, I'm like, okay, we've got a good match going on here.
My palms were sweaty the whole time. No, it was an excellent match. So everybody, back to the documentary, is asking, okay, so when this thing comes out, I'm super excited to watch it. Where can I find it?
We're exploring different distribution options. Cole and I have talked about, we literally bought some equipment to make it Netflix Netflixable because they have a certain camera recording that allows for some sort of fancy time code, some technical yada yada. And we bought that camera. In fact, he's holding that camera right there. So we can be on Netflix, but we're exploring Amazon Prime. We're exploring private release. I think there are a number of different cool ways to be able to distribute this. And I think it'll be, I mean, for everybody that's been a part of it, I think it will be really fun to see it come out when it comes out. Hopefully, first quarter of 2024. So about 6 to 7, 8 months from now.
Oh, we're so excited.
That is not the Canon 8K 240 frames per second right there. It is a couple steps up from that. I did look at that earlier on in the documentary to make sure that was Netflixian approved. But I was wondering, Cole, he's been here from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Were you in the car ride over from California? You didn't make the car ride, but shortly after that? Okay. Because that would have been really cool if it was filming in the car ride when it all began. But
that would have been.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, we'll let you know on distribution on where we end up releasing it. Don't worry, we will be very vocal about that so that you can all tune in. And we're thrilled. We're just super excited to see that come to life.
Yeah.
Thoughts on anything else regarding the league, or any questions you got asked last night that you want to clarify for people? Curiosity from the fans?
From my understanding, we are still at the 5 teams. I think word has it that we're going to stick with that. The commissioner, I think, just wanted to keep that at 5. And just been in close talks with him and some of the rules and regulations and stuff like that. I think we're going to implement maybe some new things.
Okay.
So can't wait to dive into the numbers and see where we have, and hopefully we can implement those changes for season 2.
Anything else you'd like to add, Patrick?
I noticed an interesting comment on YouTube last night. One of the people watching on Pickleball Channel mentioned that, like, what we're doing in Arizona, it would be cool to see that replicated in Texas and Florida. And then, like, the winners play in a championship match. And yes, we have thought a little bit about that. In fact, I spent quite a bit of money to register all 50 states as Texas Pickleball League, Florida Pickleball League, Utah Pickleball League, Washington Pickleball League, basically trademark registrations with our trademark attorney. And the ideas that we've had around that are very broad. I will throw out to anyone that's sort of looking at this and being inspired. 1, thank you for watching and tuning in. 2, I hope that sort of the peak behind some of the numbers and the amount of people that it takes to do this gives some, like, practical context for what it actually takes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, look, orchard security guys don't exactly just grow on trees.
I haven't ran into that tree yet, but yes, I agree with you. And look at these guys.
Oh, I mean, security dogs don't grow on trees either.
No. And when I'm here, you can see they can relax.
Yeah.
But if I snap my finger, ding the bell, ears up, and it's game on, just like that.
So we did register those trademarks, and one of the ideas that I'm going to throw out right now is that we've been thinking about, well, is it a franchise kind of a thing? Maybe. And, like, we help you take your league to this level. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. Another idea is sort of an open source concept where we license certain aspects of the concept in exchange for, like, promotion or just to sort of I'm a big fan of WordPress, that is a platform that runs websites. It's open source, and it powers like 30% of websites on the internet. And there's a very large community that sort of keeps that going, and they're loosely affiliated with each other, so there's not a lot of cost and infrastructure and bureaucracy. There's really just innovation and collaboration. And there's an element of that we've only really, started talking about this, so maybe I get in trouble by bringing this up on the podcast, but I'm throwing it out there for two reasons. One, if you sort of have feedback on the league in general, if you're a fan or if you're interested, please reach out and email me. My email address, super easy, patrick@jigsawhealth.com, patrick@jigsawhealth.com. Easy to find. I'd love to hear from you. There is actually a league starting up this summer that we have some connections to, and it was, I think, very much inspired by the Arizona Pickleball League. It's the Washington Pickleball League. So two people in particular, the general manager of the Gilbert Gladiators, Mike Givens, who lives in Arizona part-time, Washington part-time. He's a part of that league. Takako Taranjo, apologies, one of the players on last night's Peoria Pythons. She was drafted. Lucas Crippen, one of the players on the Gilbert Gladiators.
He's a GM.
He's a GM in the Washington Pickleball League. And even our good friend Edward Hector, former CEO of the Pickleball Central, he's one of the GMs. So we have some connections there. And I was talking to Edward about the format of what they're doing. I like that they're kind of experimenting in some different ways to figure out, maybe this is the WordPress open source innovation cannot, be contained, and it's sort of not bureaucratic. It's just innovative.
Yeah, it's good for the sport, good for the communities. Speaking of, I would like to put it out there. If you are considering or have a desire to be drafted to the Arizona Pickleball League at some point, please do go to ArizonaPBL.com. There is a player application on there. Anyone that has basically a 5.0 plus rating can qualify. We'd love to see your application come through. And we are just super grateful for everyone's support, for the people that bought tickets all season, and all the people that we thanked already. We're just very grateful. It's been a wonderful experience.
Ton of fun. It's incredible to think the orchard at Jigsaw Health has yet to turn 1 year old.
That's right. We opened August 1st of 2022.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, OSG, do you have any final parting words for us to this evening or this morning, this afternoon? What time is it? What day is it?
Well,
it's 1 p.m.
Yeah. I do have some parting words for everybody tonight. Pickleballers, I was sipping my French press coffee that I've flown in from Italy this morning, and I started thinking about the season. And I had a difficult time pinpointing a specific highlight for this year's Season 1 Arizona Pickleball League. But there were a few things that did come to mind. And, this off-season, it's going to give me some time to polish up on a few new tactical ops, camera positioning, net and court measurements, dog training, and also working with Pamboni. Yeah, it's our own version of Zamboni. Her and I have a special relationship, trying new pads and cleating patterns, which we experiment each week before every match, detailing the orchard court right out here with the proper cleanliness standards. But this journey we took, which started, like we said earlier, from a car ride home from Palm Springs in January to a sold-out finale last night, which 11 minutes. Yeah, you could say we're doing something special here at the Orchard, something you don't want to miss out on, something players and fans have trouble even describing their experiences. it's a place like no other. The Orchard at Jigsaw Health. Until the next episode.